feel you now. I even got to hear you. The unspoken language is being communicated, of course. And if I'm Mr. Trubisky, I got the middle finger to the sky. I'm like, y'all going to fight for my love again because who in the hell are y'all to bench me in the first place? This conversation should never have been a conversation. Nick Foles is nitrous. You know, if them Fast and Furious cars, Vin Diesel and all that, when he knows he's in a tight race or he's losing, that's when you hit Nick Foles. In case of emergency, break glass. There was no emergency in Chicago. What the hell are y'all doing hitting the nitrous button and bringing out Nick Foles? Last time I checked this year, your starter, Mr. Trubisky, had not lost a game. He was going to lose that game in Atlanta, but he had not lost a game. And since that point, oh, my God, a 5-1 team now finds themselves in this position, 5-4, not knowing if they're going to make the playoffs or not. Nick Foles is someone that you have to properly apply to your team, not only in terms of performance, but in terms of the psychological effect. Guys know who Nick Foles is. He's going to come in with some juice. I don't know how long it's going to last, but he's coming in with some firepower and juice. Unfortunately, in this situation, by the numbers, doesn't look good for him. They got to go back to Mitch. He's the only winner they got.
Marcellus, I'm so torn. I'm torn on this take. Nick Foles, he took me in when I was homeless, had nowhere to go, put me on his couch. Should have put me in the guest bedroom.
I'm about to say,
put me on the couch. Somebody else was in the guest bedroom, a tight end at the time.
Was it a halfway house? What the hell?
We was in Philly, okay? That's before Nick was a starter. He was backing up Mike Vick. Ain't had that money back then.
Some addicts.
Anyway, let me get back to my point.
Bro.
The fact of the matter is the struggling Bears, they should go back to Mr. Trubisky.
Yes.
And they should be. Because they never should have left Mitch.
Let's talk.
Matt Nagy, the head coach. You made your bed. It's time for you to lay in it. Don't bench Mitch Trubisky, who's 2-0. All he did was have, what, 2 to 4 struggling quarters, depending on how you looked at it. He got pulled after 2 quarters in the Falcons game, a game in which they probably were going to lose.
That was it.
But he didn't deserve to be benched. Here's my problem, Sal.
Okay.
Matt Nagy never wanted to like Mitch Trubisky.
Boom.
I'm going to put y'all on game. I told y'all I study sports psychology. There's something called the Pygmalion effect. Simply put, self-fulfilling prophecy. If I believe that Marcellus isn't intelligent, then I'm going to act like he's not intelligent. Marcellus is going to say something unintelligent. It's going to reaffirm my initial thought that he was never intelligent. Why am I saying that?
Say it.
Matt Nagy, head coach, he thought Mitch Trubisky was sorry. Bomb. So he put Mitch Trubisky in positions to not excel.
Great.
Mitch Trubisky goes out there against the Falcons, throws an interception. I knew it. I knew Mitch Trubisky's sorry. Let's go to Nick Foles.
Yep.
The problem is Matt Nagy only sees the bad in Mitch Trubisky and only sees the good in Nick. Nick Foles is that incredible relief quarterback. Incredible. Nick Foles, when he is at his top tier, I think he is better than most other quarterbacks at that top tier. It's a convoluted statement, but I stand behind it, always have, always will. Nick Foles, to me, greatest quarterback for the Eagles in their history, because he brought him a Super Bowl. I ride in it. Yeah, I said it.
And what history?
I said it.
What's that word before history?
In they.
In they?
T-H-E-Y. In they. In the Eagle. I said it, and I ride for my guy, Nick Foles. I ride for Nick, okay? But I also ride for common sense. I ride for common sense. And common sense says, Mitch Trubisky, you got to go back to him.
Oh, really? Does common sense also give you the stats on Nick Foles, which lets you know that, what was Matt Nagy even thinking? Among 35 starters, amongst all 35 of those starters, you know where Nick Foles ranks in win percentage? 33rd. Oh, is that good? I don't think so. What about touchdown-interception ratio? 30th. Yuck. What about Trubisky? I wonder if he ranks any worse, because it's hard to. Oh, 11th in win percentage. Oh, that's good. And higher in passer rating and touchdown-to-interception ratio. So if you really want to look at the body of work, why would you even think that Nick Foles could be the guy for you versus Mitch Trubisky, who has 23 touchdowns, 13 interceptions since the start of last year? That's not great, but guess where it is? Somewhere between Jared Goff and Kyler Murray. And you're going to put Nick Foles in there hoping you get some Super Bowl antics again. It's not the same. I just look at this situation simply as this. When I look at two guys, and if I don't have a clear understanding which one's better, I just look at their resumes. I just look at their body of work. And when I look at Mr. Trubisky, I see a guy that has averaged 24 points and 368 total yards a game this year with this offense. And I look at you, Nick Foles, 17 points and only 276 yards. Do we switch out everyone else, or did we just switch out the quarterbacks? Just the quarterbacks. So why are we regressing as a system with Nick Foles?
Sel, can we take a deep dive like we do on this show, which others aren't going to do for you? Let's talk about why Matt Nagy probably won't make the decision. Marcellus, in college, one of my best friends, he was dating this chick. She was a close friend of mine. He broke up with her. starts dating another girl who was actually friends of the girl he was dating, then breaks up with her, and goes back to dating the original girl that he was first dating.
Oh, champion.
So now everybody's wondering, hey, what's wrong with you? Because clearly it's not the females, clearly it's not the ladies, it's you that's the issue.
Is he trying to get married or is he just trying to
They're married now, so all's well that ends well.
Okay, well, they're good.
All's well
It's a
that ends
good
well.
story.
Here's my thing. I don't know if the story is going to end the same for the Bears. Matt Nagy, the world had concluded Mitch Trubisky just can't play. That's what the world concluded. Even though studies and stats, and if you really watch the tape, it kind of showed otherwise. He was a middle-tier quarterback, but we already said because of how high he was drafted ahead of Mahomes, drafted ahead of Deshaun Watson, Mitch just can't play.
Yeah.
So then you go back to Nick Foles, and now we're all like, oh, Nick Foles is terrible. But if Matt Nagy, Marcellus, goes back to Mitch, he's no longer absolved of blame. Because now we don't look like, wait a second, you got rid of him, you got rid of him. Maybe it's you. And I think Matt Nagy understands that, along with general manager Ryan Pace. If GM Ryan Pace, who drafted Mitch ahead of Mahomes, ahead of Deshaun, if they go back out to Mitch, now they look bad. And in the game of football, it's honestly, you can be honest, and I'll be honest with this, it's also about who's the best scapegoat.
Well,
who can fall on the sword so I don't have to?
Yeah, it's always that. And it's funny, sports is supposed to be the meritocracy, the only one left in this world, in this society. Unfortunately, even in sports, you can see situations like this where it's not just merit-based. If I'm Matt Nagy, I have to eat crow. If I'm Matt Nagy, I have to reverse course. You know why? Be in that locker room right now. You are losing guys by the second by standing pat and saying, no, we're going to ride Nick Foles till the wheels fall off. People are like, yo, the wheels already fell off. If not, this car wobbly as hell. What you doing? You have to reverse course. It's okay, coach. Humanize yourself. You're like us. We make mistakes every single time we perform. It's okay if you made a mistake. You don't even have to address it like it's a mistake. You can say, we tried something. It didn't work. But we still have a season to salvage. Let's do it. You know why? If I had to argue for Nick Foles in some capacity, I would look at the last 3 weeks' losses, all against winning teams from last year, and 2 of them were playoff teams, versus when you look at them when they were 5-1, none of those teams made the playoffs. So it was an easier schedule in the beginning than it has been of late. The point is, if you're Matt Nagy and you want to keep the troops, the other 51 guys, you got to reverse course. If not, if Nick Foles sinks this ship, he gonna sink Matt Nagy with it, and that's not how you want to go out.
Matt Nagy, what it comes down to is very simple. You made your bed. You better sleep in that thing comfortably.
Lumpy, too. Lumpy, baby.
Coming up in our big story, the Patriots, they've lost 4 straight. I'm going to tell you why Cam Newton's job is on the line against